Good morning. This is our 30th annual Community Association meeting. We look forward to giving you a lot of information today. I'm going to pass it over to John Platts, who is our president. He's been the president for the past 3 years. John, thank you for everything you've done. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rick. Rick has been our executive director for 14 years and has done one heck of a job for this community. Again, thanks, Rick, for your long-term service to the community. Good morning and welcome to the 30th annual meeting of the Community Association. First of all, let me introduce the boards. My name is John Platts. I've been the president of the HOA for the last 3 years. GL Chambers has been a board member for 8 years and is currently acting as our treasurer. Mike Keith has been declared since 2010. Is responsible for the orderly development of the GL property. Has served as the HOA president and currently is our secretary. Scott Lowell is the longest tenure member of the board. Scott has serviced the community for 22 years. It's a fantastic record, Scott. He has served as a president, as a vice president and director. Scott also was a managing director for the property for 7 years. Greg Hamas represents the multifamily Class 2 units. Greg has elected this year to not run after serving 4 years on the board as a vice president. I'd like to thank him for his services. He is instrumental in helping us develop the pool and racket club as part of the project management team. He was involved in the committees when we started developing the Get Involved program. It was on the pool committee. And he's also been helping us improve the overall operations and reduce our debt. Greg, I wish you best and come back and see us soon. So for today's agenda, Rick will be talking about how we're doing the meeting this year and what the changes are. He'll also be talking about the multifamily election and who's running for that position. He'll also talk about our governing bodies. We have a very complex system here, and he'll be concentrating primarily on the Architectural Review Committee and what their responsibilities are. I will cover the financial reports, operational excellence, a program that we continue to try to improve our operations, and the community involvement program. Mike Keith will follow up with the overall real estate status this year and the development of the property. That will be followed by GL Chambers talking about any golf highlights, the Ice Castle recaps, and how the conference center is coming along. Rick will then finish up with the Swim and Racket Club newsflash of where we are right now with the pool. And he'll finish with the election results for the multifamily elections.
Good morning. As you can see, the Community Association has changed its format and how we handle the annual meeting. Beginning in mid-March, we noticed change in the nature of how the HOA was going to have to operate and what that meant moving forward. Not surprisingly, we had to shift our focus to dealing with COVID-19, stay-at-home orders, legal liabilities for the association, and how to respond to an expected drop in HOA assessment revenue as a result of the virus. Who knew what kind of unpleasant surprises we would discover as we moved into this new era of conducting business? But it's no longer business as usual for the association. We had to change our traditional way of holding this annual meeting in the ballroom to holding it on our Community Association website. We had to videotape the meeting in order to present to you the status of the community and what is happening. As for the association business has changed, we have had to reduce capacity at the pool to allow for deep cleanings of the facility, up the availability of hand sanitizers and disinfectant wipe stations, wearing a mask and gloves when entering units, calling units to ensure they are healthy, and informing them that we are healthy. We have limited the entry at the HOA office, stopped handing out unit owners' keys to service providers. Associate meetings have been performed virtually. Social distancing and washing hands has just become part of everyday business. For several months, all eyes have focused on getting through the changing dynamics with operating on the front lines. Our teams, our operations intact. Now that we've navigated most of the business hurdles, swinging back to longer-term plan is now our focus. A virtual driver for the HOA has been the cooperation of the residents, the board members, and the staff. People have understood the need for the changes. They have understood things are just not the same. Assessments did not drop. Residents continue to fulfill their obligation of paying their assessments. Most importantly, everyone is working together, and Geneva National continues to be the jewel of Lake Geneva. Today's election, we are electing the Multifamily Residences Community Association representative. Homeowners associations come with many interesting and different processes. However, one of the most critical processes members have to deal with is the election of a board of directors, which can be a member's first exposure to corporate law. Understanding the process of how the HOA board is elected and how members may participate is essential, mainly because the board will have the power to enact rules, regulations, and the like, which without question have impact on homeowners' overall experience living in a HOA community. After all, the homeowners association members and directors are neighbors and will have to interact with one another. This is a 2-year commitment for the candidate that wins this election. The candidate will represent the multifamily residences in all community association business. There is a misnomer that the multifamily representative on the community board oversees the Masters Association multifamily activities. This could be no further from the truth. The Masters Association is a separate organization operating independently from the community association. Our candidates are John Blumke from the Lakelands condominium area, Thomas B. Ledgerwood, Foxwood condominium area, Walt Liptek from Eagleton's condominium area. The role of a multifamily community association representative to be an active member of the community association board and making decisions for the maintenance and repair of the community private roadway system, to provide security services to the property, which will include, but not limited to, restricting access to the property unit owners, their guests and invitees, operating and maintaining staff guard house locations, and providing patrol by use of the vehicle of the property. Also, we have to provide services for water supply, sanitary service, the operation, maintenance, repair, and replacement of these services. To provide a general fund which will enable the community association to exercise their powers and discharge their duties. Enforce lien for non-payment of any assessment levied by the community association. To buy, sell, lease, pledge, mortgage, and hold legal title to both real and personal property on behalf of the members. To obtain secured loans. To hire agents and employees and retain management. To take on any lawful action necessary in the sole and absolute discretion of the Board of Directors to exercise all powers and discharge all duties and responsibilities and all liabilities of the Community Association. Our governing bodies. Homeowners associations contain single-family housing developments as well as condominium and townhouse complexes. An HOA is the governing body of the development or complex comprising of homeowners who have volunteered to serve on the HOA board. When you bought a property at Geneva National, you also bought into a community governed by homeowners association. You automatically became a member of the association. You do not have the choice of not joining. The purchase of your home becomes a contract with the HOA. You agree that you will obey all the HOA rules and pay regular dues and any special assessments. We have 3 different governing bodies. Number 1, to the left here, you see Geneva National Community Association. Underneath of them, we have the Geneva National Service Corp. That is our infrastructure corporation. Swim and Racket Club, which is our club or our amenity that we offer. We have the Geneva National Condominium Masters Association. They are responsible for 37 condominiums of single family and multifamily. Forward Geneva National is the declarant. Underneath of them is the Architectural Review Committee. HOA rules are called covenants, conditions, and restrictions. We refer to them as the CCRs. The CCRs apply to both you, the homeowner, and your home. The CCRs cover many aspects, and recently I e-blasted a 12-page of rules covering our 3 governing bodies. the Architectural Review Committee, the Community Association, and the Masters Association. Rules differ between the different associations governed communities, so carefully study the CCRs. You received a copy at your closing. HOAs balance the restrictions with advantages. If all the homeowners follow the rules, or the HOA does its job in enforcing the rules when homeowners break them, you would avoid the problems and the plagues some neighborhoods, such as trash piling up or poor maintenance of yards and roads. Your property value, based partly on the neighborhood condition, should be stable. You also have access to luxurious amenities, the pool, tennis, pickleball courts, and the golf course. HOA governance is not as simple or easy, and unfortunately board members or volunteers doing their best with too little time and too little money. Board responsibilities. The Community Association Board here is responsible for the water and the sewer, the water tower and the fire hydrants, providing you fire protection. The private roadway system, the property security and safety, the swim and racket club, and they also set rules and policies for the Community Association. I would like to go a little further in today into the ARC, which is the Architectural Review Committee, and more or less the purpose of them. The Architectural Review Committee of Geneva National's mission is simple: to review and maintain the condominium declarations and protect the covenants that define Geneva National's construction requirements, to review plans for completeness and integrity to meet those requirements, to maintain and enhance aesthetic value of Geneva National. To facilitate this, we have established the Geneva National Architectural Guides and Review Procedures Manual. The purpose of these guidelines is to outline for the property owners, their architects and builders, useful information and requirements will be helpful in the design and construction of homes in Geneva National Community, and to explain the architectural review process. The quality of homes constructed in Geneva National determines to a great extent the character of the community and the nature of life within. One of the primary development objectives for Geneva National is to protect, preserve, where possible, the natural environment and aesthetic appearances throughout the development. In order to accomplish these objectives, the Declaration of Covenants, Conditions, and Restrictions and Easements of Geneva National, the CCRs, has been executed and recorded against all property within the development. Here is a common issue that we deal with. Can I clear my property? The ARC rule is, no homeowner is to alter the natural terrain of any land or cut or remove, mutilate any trees, shrubs, bushes, or vegetation within or on the property without the express written approval of the Architectural Review Committee. Even when permitted by the Architectural Review Committee, such activities will only be permitted within the approved building site as defined in the declaration. The Architectural Review Committee is charged with the implementation of the architectural provisions set forth in the declaration and the architectural standards endorsed by the Trust. The Architectural Review Committee is responsible for the review and the approval of the submittals required in connection with your proposed improvements, and retains a responsibility through the construction period to assure your building has been completed in substantial compliance with the plans submitted and approved.
So let's now turn our attention to the financial reports for 2020. The first line up we have here is what do you pay this year in assessments? The 223 is the CA assessment for the single family, and the 215 is for the multifamily CA assessment. The Swim and Racket Club is approximately $40. That's a separate LLC and is carried outside the CA P&L. The 223 for the single family and the 215 for the multifamily makes up the CA basic assessments, as you can see there. Those assessments, those basic assessments break down this way. GN services make up 26% of our total expenses. Administration, 24%. Debt service is 15%, and we'll have more to say on the debt later on of what that means when we pay down that debt. Security is 13, water sewer 11, and the balance is 11%. The GN service at 26 is made up of drainage, road work, and associated vehicle expenses for maintaining that, and the payroll for supporting that effort. Our financial strategy is very simple. We anticipate no increases in 2021. I would like to continue that as we have for the last 4 years, to continue to work with our current assessment and not increase that. Time will tell how that works out, but that's our strategy. We want to maintain $500,000 in reserves at all times. As for emergency purposes, we've looked at what could possibly happen to us that we need that money. We have several of our buildings, and the water tower in our buildings all have insurance on them and the infrastructure. But just in case, we've got $500,000 in reserve and we maintain that at all times. We're also aggressively continuing to reduce our debt. The sooner we get the debt, frees up more money to do other things with. So how are we doing this year? This is through June of this year. As you can see, our income is $19,000 over. That's an excellent number we have there. That income is made up of four things. It's made up of the assessments to the residents. It's made up of the management fee that we charge the multifamilies for services, and maintenance fee and management fee for the swim and racket club. The fourth one that's a little more difficult to budget is the miscellaneous, which is made up of things such as the rentals, transponders, ground and services income. So those are the variable parts of the budgeting. This year we're doing very well. We're $19,000 over. As far as the expenses go, you can see where we're a little off or a little high, but overall we're $535 off of the budget. I don't know how we can get any better than that, folks. This is world-class budgeting. Our 5-year capital plan to pay for our initiatives we're doing this year is that we've taken a look at 5 years and what our costs are going to be as far as capital go. It's made up of general and IT. We tend to have IT expenses every year. Equipment, we're on a 10-year rolling equipment plan. Once we modernize the fleet, which we've done over the last couple of years, we replaced 3 or 4 vehicles a year. Now we're on a program that's 1 vehicle a year. Possibly in 2020 it was 2 vehicles, to get us that we have a rolling stock and keep our equipment as modern as possible. The roadways is the big issue we have this year. This includes the boulevard at $250,000, and in 2021 is our big item of $600,000. The drainage is an ongoing thing that we continue to have. We continue to find more drainage issues as the property gets older that we need to maintain. Water and sewer is kind of a fixed item, and Social Security is for fixing gates and IT support. So the big items we have here in spend is this year is $602,000, followed by 2021 at $908,000, and that includes redoing the entire boulevard. To fund this, we took a look at our opening balances of last year. It was $1.4 million. Annually, we reserve $350,000 for capital expenditures. That gives a total of $1.8 million. Again, I said we reserve $500,000. We take off the $500,000 for our strategy reserve, $500,000 each year. And then we subtract our capital, get over the balance of this year. It's going to be $702,000. Next year, we start off with a balance of $101.2 million, and you can see we get down here with the big expenditure of $908,000. Our available reserve gets down to a pretty tight number of $144,000. As we roll it out through the year, as our capital decreases somewhat, we start picking up some more money. We're at $285,000. Plus the $500,000 gives us about $800,000 really in reserve money. That's our strategy. One thing I want to note down here is that it does not include any budgetary average annual savings. When we do the budget, we tend to save some money here and there. We have over the last 4 or 5 years. It runs between $100,000 and $125,000, which is not included in this. So this is a very conservative number we have here. As far as our debt obligation goes, you've seen this slide before. The blue line represents the infrastructure, which is scheduled to be paid off in October of 2023 without any additional payments. With putting the boulevard in, we may not be able to pull any more money to accelerate that debt, but 2023 the infrastructure at a current rate will be completed. Once that's completed, we will shift our emphasis to the service building, and we're projecting that that could be paid off sometime in 2025. The CA will be debt-free, and the only debt obligation we'll have is a swimming pool, which is a separate LLC. It falls under a different P&L, and to accelerate that debt, we would have to change the assessment on the pool, which we are not planning to do. So this year we had two major initiatives. One was paint the water tower. We have a partnership with Suez. It's been into, I think, our third year now. It's a 10-year agreement, and one of the things in that agreement we talked about was painting our water tower, which is a $300,000 project. It has been completed. We saw no bump in our capital expenditures because we spread it over 10 years. You probably don't even know what happened. It's done, completed, and our water tower is now good for another 10 or 15 years. The other major initiative has been to redo our boulevard. We wanted to do it for a couple reasons. We knew there was a safety problem out there when they redid 50. They cut the street light out and people were having difficulty seeing our entrance, particularly coming down from the west. We had a lot of plant growth up there and made it very difficult to see the entrance. So we decided we're going to have to modernize that entryway. It is our jewel amenity we have here, and we want that wow factor. When people come into our facility, take a look at that Boulevard Drive. It's the one that makes this place sell. So the major steps on the Boulevard, we started early. We started December as soon as we had the architectural design. We had great weather, so we started trimming trees out there. You might have noticed that. And that was one of the first things that the architecture firm decided we should do. They gave us a 3-phase entry design plan. We took a look at it. It was pretty expensive, to tell you the truth, and the CA board approved 2 phases. The phase 1 again is that we started doing the pruning early, and we did it internally, so it was a very good cost savings, and we had the people to do it. Phase 1 includes doing the decorative fencing, masonry columns. You've seen some of the fencing going up, some of the split rails going in there, and the flower beds. Soon you're going to see those flower beds with shrubbery in it and flowers. There will be an enhanced lighting process, so we're going to have uplighting, and we're going to do redo the fixtures on the light post. And in the gate area, we're going to cover up some of the utilities that are now on the guard shack and get rid of the yellow cones out there to make it more attractive. This is the artist's rendition of what it's going to look like when we get done. There's going to be a fence that starts way up here and comes around. It's not in yet. That's that black wall. You notice we have the split rails are in there already. We took out all those trees. There's going to be more fencing on this back side here. That's the daytime version. The nighttime version will look like this with the uplighting of the trees. Should be very attractive and very visible from the roadway. They're going to be able to find GN right now. They'll be able to see it. Phase 2 is that we're going to rebuild the boulevard. It's been on our reserve study or our update study for the last 10 or 15 years to do it. So it's not a surprise for us. We're also going to enhance the landscaping. We're looking at putting on a walkway to get people off that Boulevard Road. We're going to show you a rendition where it's down the center of the boulevard, but we're looking at different options of going on both sides of the road itself, partly on the golf course side, partly on our side. And we're going to improve the lighting all the way from the gate all the way up to the second gate. That'll finish up phase 2. So that's what it looks like with the walkway going down the center. We have some issues that if we do that, we may lose some trees, so we're considering going on both sides of the boulevard to provide a walk area and get people off the street. That concludes the financial report.
Go through it.
Operational Excellence is a program we started 2 or 3 years ago to look at how we can improve the operations of the HOA, how we can improve our opportunities and be a better asset for the community. First thing we started off with was, how well are we doing right now? And we developed a survey. A survey to tell us, basically, did we do a good job or didn't we do a good job and where we can improve. These are the results, starting off in 2017 to where we are now. Our goal was to get to 9.90. We're at 9.95, which is really an excellent type thing. When we initiated the program, I told the staff, they were pretty concerned about it, was, I don't care if the number comes in at 1, we just need to know where we stood. And there was some anxiety about it, but in the end, now they pay attention, we're very proud of the number, and it's you folks telling us that we're doing an excellent job. Please complete the surveys, give them to us. This helps us do a better job for you. Maintenance department work orders. This is the results of what's happened since 2019 to 2020, and I'll tell you how we got here. We've seen a 26 increase in the number of work orders. As the buildings get older, we expect this to continue to increase. It's not going to get less for the older buildings. Work orders closed, we're up 30% of the work orders closed. And work orders in progress, we're staying about right where we always are. We're not getting too far ahead or too far behind. So how did we able to do this without increasing the cost to get the work orders closed 30% more without increasing cost? We developed a program called the utilization rate. And Rick and I sat down with the staff and said, how do we know how well we're doing as far as utilizing our personnel? And through the various means of taking a look at our work orders and things, we came up with a number of 55%. That means we could only identify 55% of the activity out of an 8-hour day. And once we did that, we said, well, where are the issues? And working with the staff and let them think about it, we found out they were doing a lot of trips back and forth. We weren't prepared, we didn't have the right equipment, we went to the job sites and we had to keep it. So all this wasted time, we weren't prepared with how we laid the work out in the morning for folks. All these things were identified by the staff themselves, and we set a goal of, let's get this to 85% utilization people. We'd like to go higher, but the first year was 85%. We have now reached 85.7. which is a pretty good step in about 3.5 months of work. And now they pay attention, they know what's expected of them, and now we're able to get the work orders done at a lower cost for everybody. It's a great program. It's part of our Get Excellent program. Also, operational excellence, we gave the community, the residents, some goals. One was using more direct pay. If we send checks in, or we get checks through the mail, it takes a lot of work. We have to open the envelope, we got to record it manually, we got to do all this bookkeeping stuff, compared to a direct pay. When we get the pay in, we just put it into the system and they're done. So the emphasis has been, we want the residents to do direct pay. And we set some goals. We also wanted to improve the productivity of security. As I was able to observe, waiting for my son to get his pass in his car, his new pass for the year, is that the phone rang. So the agent has a choice. Do I finish this process of the pass, or do I answer the phone? And it's usually based on I need to get a visitor in. So they quickly pick up the phone, say, okay, what do you got? They write it down, go back, let the person pass in, then they go back and have to enter it in the system. We're encouraging people to manually or to electronically send it in of who you want to come into the facility. And they'll send back a confirmation they got it for you. So it's a very seamless type thing that makes them much more productive. Also, the original look at the amount of telephones received in this place, 80% of them turned out to be from the residents for work orders. So we highly encourage people to email those work orders in, not the emergencies, not once, not where the water's overflowing, or I got a big problem, but the basic ones that you can just email us in, and we don't have to go to the switchboard, and we cut down that amount of work and get more productive. So we set some goals for you, and let's see how you performed over the last year. Direct pays are up 7%. I was expecting more, but it's a start. So we're getting more people in. There's less manual entry. Carol has to do a lot less work, and that makes her more productive. As we get more residents, we want more people to do that because we don't want to add people just because we added more checks to handle. Visitor entrance, not bad, it's up 11%. It's doing better, it makes them more productive also. Work orders, no improvement. It's flat as it was before. I feel that some people are just leery, they want to talk to somebody, and when they talk, they have to talk about other things, obviously, so it's just not very productive for us. So we need to work on the work orders, try to get those to be at a higher percentage. So we've done fairly well there. So that's how operational excellence is working. It's a program to improve our productivity and provide better services to the residents. Community Involvement Program is a program we started 3 years ago to give the residents more say in what happens in the community. Not to do the budgeting, not to direct staff, but to make them feel part of the community. And we did that by developing 3 committees. One was a welcoming committee, where we actually welcome people in by knocking on their doors, introducing to the community. The office does it also when they come in to get their initial briefing on the HOA, give them their manuals, some of the do's and don'ts. But we do a personal visit to their homes also to welcome the community. It brings them together. There's quarterly coffees for these people to do things, and Barb will talk more about what's coming of that program. The pool committee is a committee that gives us guidance on policies, what they would like to see us do at the pool. They're very involved in entertainment, things to enhance that experience at the pool. Communication is broken down in 2 parts. One's a newsletter, which we try to do, or trying to set a quarterly type newsletter out to just give community type notices to you. It's not official stuff coming out of the HOA. We will send out policies and things like that through the HOA itself, but more of a newsletter to keep you informed what's going on in the community. And adjunct to that is the Lifestyle Magazine, which is a once-a-year magazine that's been published, and you've all seen it. You all get a copy. What a fantastic piece of marketing for us. Really sets off the community. So, with no further ado, I'll have the community people come up here, introduce themselves, and they'll tell you what their plans are for next year. Thank you.
Good morning, and on behalf of the Welcome Committee, welcome to our first virtual meeting of homeowners. Our committee includes Sue Jensen, Laura McDonald, Pam Reese, and Keith Watson. I want to thank them for continuing to welcome our new homeowners into our wonderful neighborhood and hosting our coffees and events throughout the year. We have welcomed over 129 new homeowners this last year. Most recently, though, due to the coronavirus and the guidelines for social distancing, we haven't been able to officially meet everyone in person for a few months, but we have been able to reach out and say hello via email. We're hoping to host our welcome coffee in the fall, and so we'll look forward to meeting everyone then. If you do see someone, though, new moving into your neighborhood, please say hello and help them feel welcome. It's all about neighbors meeting neighbors. This past year brought some new events to the Geneva National Homeowners community. How fun was our first chili cook-off? Great job by Pam and Dick Herman, Barb and Bob Herman, and Pam and Jim Reese for taking charge and putting together a fabulous chili cook-off. Love the Golden Plunger as the award for best chili. Our annual trunk or treat event was a great success. Perfect weather made it for a perfect day. Over 100 families participated, and we all had so much fun. Thank you to our volunteers who helped us with setup and games. Thank you to our families who came and joined in, and a special thank you to our HOA staff for building a great corn maze. And just to let you know, we all made it out of it okay. In December, we held our first Cookies with Santa and Homeowners Holiday Craft Fair at the beautiful Swim and Racket Clubhouse. Again, thank you to the HOA staff who transformed the clubhouse into a magnificent Christmas tree lane filled with lights and oversized presents, teddy bears, and Santa. A big thank you to Nancy Tuskowski and Marie Zenko for hosting this special day. It truly was a magical experience for the kids. Our crafters, who are current homeowners, added to the day by setting up their tables with all sorts of arts and crafts and made our holiday shopping easy. Our game days, dinner club, and book clubs have taken a little break due to the sheltering-in-place guidelines, but we hope to continue them once life gets back to normal. Not sure what the new normal will be, but we'll be ready to enjoy the company of our neighbors when the time comes. If any of you would like to help with any events, please just email the HOA office and join us. Please know we are all Geneva National homeowners who double as volunteers here within the neighborhood. We'll welcome you with open arms, or maybe 6 feet apart of air hugging or elbow bumping, but we'd love to have more homeowners join us. This Geneva National community is a wonderful place. Thank you for choosing to make this your home. We look forward to seeing you around the neighborhood. Have a great day.
Hi everyone, my name is Dale Ashelot and I'm the chairman of the Geneva National Swim and Racket Club. I and my colleagues, David Gutman, who was on a committee and was really tasked with bringing forth ideas for the tennis part of the club, Bob Link, Bridget Harvey, and Colette Cabeza, who were basically general kind of pool committee aficionados. Bob Link, I understand, maybe even known as the mayor, are charged with sparking the Swim and Racket Club to give a safe and enjoyable experience to the members and their invitees and to the staff, and to bring about events and other operation things like food service to give the members a very enjoyable experience that they like to come back to again and again. Given that tasking, this year has been challenging, and I would like to start the presentation with a few shout-outs and thank yous. First, to the members of the community. You have been excellent in showing patience, understanding, and cooperation and good nature with respect to all the strictures and all the issues that this pandemic has brought to the pool and is running in operation. And I thank you for that. Second, I want to thank the Community Association Board. In April, when the decision was being made about the pool and whether it would open this year, they were getting constantly, every day, contradictory messages about how to run the pool and how to open the pool and whether to open the pool. They decided to do everything humanly possible to open the pool and give the community the amenity in the season. And I thank them for that. And that brings us to the boots on the ground, Sammy and her organization and the HOA staff. Through creativity and a lot of hard work, they have made this work. I call it the perpetual opening. We started with 25% capacity, no inside food service, reservations required and fines associated with no shows on those reservations, canned beer with none of the taps being full. All were empty. We now, through the months of operation, are at 50% capacity. The tap beer is full and flowing. The food presentation at the outside pool service has been exciting and well accepted. And we no longer need reservations and all the fines and other things that go with those required reservations. So we've made great progress. However, the pandemic is still with us. Even though we've had a wonderful 4th of July with good food service and good use of the food service facilities and had a temporary bar, which was well received, out to give beer out at the adult pool. It's still with us. And therefore it's precluded all events. That was necessary if regrettable. That, however, has sparked the committee to look toward next year. We are planning to create events and other operations surprises so robust that it will salve some of the disappointment of not having any events this year. We look forward to creating those events and to the enjoyment you will have in those robust events of 2021. Also, John Platts challenged the committee at the last meeting with respect to two tasks. First, to broaden the offerings outside the traditional summer season. We already have some of those offerings. We have cookies with Santa. We have trunk and treat, and we have the chili cook-off. But he's asked us to do more and think more broadly. One thought already is that we have an Oktoberfest at the shoulder of the season. And there are other events which I'm sure we will think of and think about. It's early days yet, but we're excited about taking that challenge to hand and to heart to broaden the events outside the summer season. Second, he asked that we partner with the Community Association Board to create a longer range plan for the Swim and Racquet Club and its amenities. For instance, we could take that temporary bar over the 4th of July and make it a permanent station for the dispensing of potables and the ordering of food, with it being manned all the full time while the pool is open. We understand budget constraints and we have to look at it, but that is one idea we have. Second, another idea we have is to separating pickleball courts and tennis courts and having two separate facilities so that there wouldn't be the jarring between the two and both would be better experiences. Again, we have to look at whether that really is called for by the requests of the members and the usage of the members, but that's another thing to look at. And we'll be looking at other things. Again, I say it's early days, but we're really excited about creating a long-range plan for the Swim and Racquet Club amenities and the pool and the tennis courts. Finally, I would say that remember, the COVID pandemic is still with us. We still need your good humor and your cooperation in going through the rest of the season to make it an enjoyable experience and as safe an experience as we possibly can make it. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Joe Warnstedt, and I am chair of the Geneva National Property Association's Communications Committee. Along with part of our team, which is a talented group of volunteer residents, Dave Bungie, Selena Eggert, Alyssa Fitzpatrick, Dave Olson, and Stephanie Parent. Our team has one simple mission, and that's to provide the residents of Geneva National with factual, informative, interesting, engaging information about the community. You will receive 4 separate types of communications from the Communication Committee. First is alerts, something that is timely or urgent that will come directly from the Property Association. Also, rules and regulations, sometimes notifications or reminders to rules and regulations. From the Swim and Racquet Club, you'll receive some information regarding events, certain happenings at the Swim and Racquet Club, and then also the biggest piece that we work on 4 times a year, quarterly, plus an annual end of the summer recap is the GN Happenings newsletter. Our committee has more goals for 2020, but the biggest one is that we want to hear from you. We want community involvement. We want this to be your communication vehicle to the residents. So with that, we're looking for content. We're looking for ideas. We want your voice. We want ideas for articles, and we're also looking for photos. Photos that you may capture around the neighborhood, in your yard, or at events. And those can be submitted to gnpa@gnpropertymanagement.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you, and also looking forward to sharing what's going on in the community with you. Thank you for your time.
Oh, hi. I'm Joel Mersberger, and I'm part of the team that developed and publishes the Lifestyle Geneva National magazine. We're a team of dedicated residents who volunteer their time and efforts to promote Geneva National. Our team members are Barbara Degnan, Dave Bungy, Diane Burke, Dawn Jensen, Joel Mersberger, Stephanie Nelson, and Howard Stork. This is our third year of the publication. We have grown the circulation this year by 20% over 2019, from 5,000 to 6,000 copies. By now, each resident should have received their copy in the mail. We had over 1,000 direct mailed to Geneva National residents and property owners. The remaining 5,000 will be distributed by our partner, Nye Turner, across southeastern Wisconsin. Our intent is to get them into the hands of individuals who are looking for a community that offers all the benefits that we enjoy here in Geneva National. The other benefit is that all this happens at no cost to the community. All our costs are paid for by the advertising revenue, which was up 5% over the last year. The goal of the magazine is to focus on the residents and all that we have here in Geneva National. This year, we had articles on various families and their diverse backgrounds and interests. We also featured the various book clubs, dining clubs, and of annual events throughout the year. We even had an article on the pets of residents. Look hard for your picture. We had hundreds of residents included in the pictures. We are already starting to work on the 4th edition, which is planned for May of 2021. Our goals again will be to focus on the lifestyle we enjoy in Geneva National, as well as provide a resource book for residents that can be used for what Geneva National has to offer, from community events to homeowner services. Please take the time to enjoy the magazine and keep it on your coffee table. And please remember, we're always looking for ways to improve our content. And if there's anything else you would like to see in the magazine, please contact one of our team members. The magazine is Lifestyle Geneva National. Create the life you love.
It's Mike Keefe, and blessed and pleased to have my son Tom here, who runs our real estate brokerage, the real estate brokerage business of Keefe and his real estate. To give you a kind of a heads up and a report of where the real estate market in our area is and how we see it going forward. Tom has some numbers and statistics. We do not have the final statistics for the first 6 months of this year, which will be very interesting for us all to see. We have a feel for it, but we will have details later, and I'll give them to you in a future report not too long away. But suffice it to say, it's been unusual and unprecedented. We've managed through it. It's okay. The market's come back, and as you'll see, it's been stunted and delayed. And Tom has real good numbers on that. As you also have noticed, of course, in GN, a number of projects, single family and a couple of multi-families being underway, and we have more of that to come. So we're excited about that, because one thing you'll realize when Tom gives you the numbers he's about to give you some of, that we as a real estate industry are starved for listings. We have not got enough to sell, and we have not seen a strong resurgence of listings, but we've seen some, thank goodness. Tom, you take it away. And
okay. Thanks, Dad. Hi, everybody. As my dad just said, this has, of course, been an unprecedented year in pretty much everyone's lives, real estate included. I do think that one thing we've talked about a lot is that we feel like we're actually in a really good place with everything that's going on by being in the second market here in southeastern Wisconsin. We have a lot of advantages and strengths that other markets do not have. But to give you enough update on what's going on in the Geneva National community and a little bit outside the gates in Walworth County. I think one of the big things one of the big stats that we've been tracking is that listings so far this year are down about 18% from last year, but they're starting to pick up. And what we're seeing just in the last 2 weeks is that the spring market, which is traditionally our busiest market here, shifted into the summer and really got kicked off last week, on the 4th of July week. It was the first week where we saw a breakthrough in listings that had been kind of flat for about 2 months, and finally last week they started to break through. So I think people are starting to list. But one thing that's been more consistent is showings. We have seen a tremendous number of showings going back 4 or 6 weeks right now. Right when everything got shut down, of course our listings dropped to basically like Thanksgiving week levels, which is always our slowest week. But they started to incline after that, and sometime in mid-May when the safer at home orders were lifted, we saw showings go back to our peak levels, and they have actually stayed there since the end of May. So I don't know if you're actually watching transactions happening, but homes are selling very quickly, actually all over the place, and Geneva National is no exception. We don't have the second quarter stats yet. They don't come out for another week or two. The first quarter, before everything happened, was actually a little slower in Geneva National and in Abbey Springs, but we think that's more to do with inventory more than anything else, because we did see values going up a little bit, which has been a trend in Geneva National for a couple of years now. I do expect to see those numbers change quite a bit in the second quarter when they happen, or when we have them. I think we'll see more sales, but some specifics in GN right now, there are currently 12 single-family detached homes for sale in the community, 9 multifamily units, and 17 parcels of vacant land. This is, we would like to see more based on the demand we have right now, but it's good. And when you talk to our brokers anecdotally right now who are in the community, they say that they're just absolutely on. Things are moving extremely quickly, and places that are priced appropriately are selling right away, which is great for the community, great for the entire county. So, I think, for people just wondering how the market's going, generally, it's been very good in the last couple of months. We expect to see that continue here for the next couple of months because that market got shifted from the spring into the summer. So if that really holds true, which we're not seeing any reason it wouldn't, that would mean another 4 to 6 weeks of strong sales. One thing that's going to be interesting to see if Illinois schools go back in when they traditionally do, or if those get pushed. Because if those get pushed, I think our selling season might actually extend a little longer. And as you mentioned in Geneva National, just from a real estate standpoint, with new home construction, it's been very exciting to see the new home construction. We did a feature on one of the new homes in the community in our spring version of Lake and Country, and just to read the stories like that is so exciting, because what we've talked about the past couple of years is this sort of this next phase of Geneva National. And when you read stories about new people coming in the community and how much they love it, how much value they see in the amenities and the housing, it's I think incredibly good sign for where the community is headed. So that's my perspective on things.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I know you guys have probably had this discussion amongst yourselves, but we've been much busier up here as a community than normal early. For example, I can tell you from the grocery store guys' perspective, it's been like summer for them since April. Normally April and May are, building months, but not busy really, for obvious reasons. The weather isn't great. But this year, that's totally changed, and people that have second homes, and this has been true in Geneva National, have come to live in them, come to stay in them, come to extend their early stays, and really are in some cases moving, selling whatever they had in the city or the suburbs of Chicago and moving up here. So it'll be fascinating for us to see how that trend goes. And this step back of the spring market is something I've never seen. I've only done this for 50 years. I've never seen that happen. I've seen markets shut off. We were very worried about it shutting off. But it didn't. It slowed way down, but it came way back. People our agents are running around like chickens with their head cut off, and it takes more work now to sell because of the social distancing and all of that that goes into this business. But we're showing, what, 300 to 400 showings a week? And that's a hell of a lot of showings. It's very, very interesting. So we'll see how that goes. We will be able to have detailed stats and numbers for you, and I'll convey them to you one way or another.
We'll have our report done by the end of the month too, which we can send out.
Yeah, we'll put it on the website or give it to Rick. He can tell us how he wants it delivered, but you won't have to endure necessarily another film clip of us. But that's what's going on. We're very relieved, I can tell you that, and very pleased and excited to see the face of GN and how it looks with the new hotel. Construction in Paloma is completed, looks fabulous. The golf courses, of course, given all this recent rain especially, look fabulous. So we think we're in a very lucky and fortunate spot. And we think, I'm sure many of you, most of you, I hope, agree with that. And we'll go look forward to the rest of the year. We'll see where it ends up. We should put a pool together where we end up compared to a normal year. But anyway, thanks for coming. Thanks for listening.
Good morning, Geneva National. GL Chambers, Golf Club representative on the Community Association Board. I hope this video finds you well, safe, and healthy given the crazy times that we're living in. Agenda item number 1 is ice castles. Unbelievable that ice castles was in 2020. It feels like it was a decade ago, but the 3 to 4 week program was in February where we welcomed 80,000 people through our front doors. I thought the venue really set up perfectly for them. I know they were extremely happy. Our customers seemed very happy. I want to really thank you for all your support and being there. So a lot of the community showing up with family and friends, so that was great to see. The community website also experienced a tremendous amount of traffic during the Ice Castle run. So all in all, they really proved to be a marketing machine. The more that we can expose our brand and our community to people, the better off we're going to be. So I certainly want to entertain that program moving forward. Shortly after the ice castles closed, so did the economy. And that's really the headline here. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a catastrophic impact on the hospitality industry. I can say that we have really done an amazing job to weather the storm, and so I feel fairly confident about our business outlook at this point moving forward. Things that we had to do to survive. Number 1, we had to right-size our business given the uncertain economic environment that we were living in. So unfortunately, the people were our biggest casualty. Associates that you've gotten to know over the years are no longer with us. Number 2, we had to pivot and change a lot of our F&B concepts to more of a takeout and a pickup program. Turf went to a family-style curbside pickup. I want to thank everybody that supported us during those months where we were rolling that program out. I know that it afforded us to bring a lot of our key associates back sooner than we otherwise would have because we had revenue coming in. So thank you for that. It was definitely a bright spot. Crafted at the Ridge was another pivot that we made. We transformed that menu to more of an Italian and pizza forward concept. It really lends itself great to take out and pick up. So look out for that if you've not experienced the Crafted restaurant as well. The golf industry really was a benefactor for a period of time there. It was a perfect storm. When you compound the weather, the fact that Illinois was shut down and golf was open in Wisconsin, I believe that we were the busiest golf resort in the Midwest. We went as far as taking on a caddy program and increasing our golf fleet to take advantage of the surge. So that really set the stage and allowed us to be in a position to have a successful prime season and bring back staff at a significant level so that we were in a position to train and understand the new COVID environment that we needed to operate in. That was extremely beneficial. The membership component too has been very well received. A lot of our member events are outdoor in a social safe setting. So it's even gone as far as having the feedback that we've had the best member event schedule in the history of the club. So as an example, I'm going to a stargazing barbecue s'more cookout on Saturday with my family, so hopefully we'll see you there. No time like a pandemic to roll out a new hotel product, but we did survive all of the unknowns and supply chain breakdowns and successfully opened up both buildings on July 1, are now fully rented, and we're getting a great feedback from customers. I can tell you that we've successfully attracted a better clientele, a clientele that are future home buyers, members. It is something that we all should be really proud of, and I think showcases our community. So anticipate seeing a lot more discovery packages, and I look forward to partnering up with realtors to bring prospective buyers through there and really showcase the community via the new suites and the club. I am looking forward to a strong 2021. The corporate business is gone, but the traveling golf groups, the weddings, the social groups are starting to come back, and I think our golf course and our position in the marketplace allows us to really have an advantage over some of our competitors to the north. One of the ways that we are going to continue to reinvest in the property is improving our common areas, improving our golf course. We have really taken on a different approach to our agronomy and our cultural practices. You're going to see a different look around some of our green complexes and our tee boxes that are going to be that showcase our Wisconsin look and feel with a more of a fescue profile when you're off the fairway. So I think the courses are looking outstanding. Our greens are rolling great, and again, it's leaning towards being one of the best golf facilities in the Midwest, which complements being one of the premier communities in the Midwest. Thanks again for all your support. I'm around the club if you have any other questions. I know there's a question and answer a program that Rick and John will be rolling out. But again, we miss you. Hope to see you soon, and be well.
I want to thank all the presenters today. Everybody's done a wonderful job. The information is so valuable that you do. More importantly, I want to thank you for the time that you give to this association and how you help us, the staff, in making Geneva National a better place. Congratulations, folks. Thank you so much. Well, now it's time for us to move on to our next part of the day, and that's going to be the election results. This year we were fortunate enough to have 3 individuals that stepped up to join us. I want to thank John Blumke from the Lakelands. I want to thank Thomas P. Ledgerwood from Foxwood and Walt Liptick from the Eagletons. They stood up here to get part of this team with us and to help move our community even more forward. What a wonderful thing to do. Well, the new Community Association Multifamily Residence Representative is John Blumke. Thank you. John, congratulations. Welcome to the Community Association's Board of Directors. We look forward to working with you. You'll be a valuable team member. Congratulations.
In closing the meeting, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to review this presentation. As you will note, that we did not have a format for questions and answers. I want to remind you, though, that we have the town hall in November, where we'll have a full town hall meeting. We'll take all answers and questions at that particular point in time. Remember, you can always call the HOA building and talk to the staff about any of the questions you have. So don't wait till November if you have a question that you'd like answered. We'd be happy to take care of you. Thank you, and have a great day.